Hey,
Hi,
welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna.
I'm Marnie.
So,
Marnie. Oh, I'm not Marnie. Oh,
yeah.
I am Marnie. Oh, what's
What's going
happening?
on?
Shoshana and I having a conversation just before we started recording about rom-coms. And I was
Mm,
saying to Shoshana, my question that I posed to Shoshana was, do you think that a good rom-com is marked by the fact that the two leads are of equal hotness?
Now, for context, I was saying that I started watching Office Romance, which is the Netflix rom-com with Jennifer Lopez and Brett Goldstein. And I haven't finished it yet. I fell asleep. I will go back and finish watching it. But the problem I was having is I couldn't buy Brett as like a leading man. And I find him quite attractive, but I didn't find him sexy. Then you ask the question of, does it have to be equal hotness? And I do believe you kind of do need them to be equal-ish for it to be believable, because when they're not as attractive, you then start scratching your head the whole movie going, in what world would a Jennifer Lopez be with I don't know, a 4 or 5?
So
Unless
what are
that's
you saying, Brett's a fool?
No, actually, I was going to say, I think it's more like, in the film, he's giving more 7.
But I guess my question is, do you think they are equally hot?
No. Unfortunately, I don't. And
It doesn't matter if he
and I
is
think
like a 7 or 8. If he is not as hot as Jennifer Lopez, that's the problem.
But I think that's the plot of the film anyway. The plot of the film was like, she's the boss. So like almost kind of out there's a league. Like they portray her of like her being sexy but tough and like like a bullbuster type of, character, and him being like the meek but kind of like good lawyer. But they don't seem like an equal pairing. I think that's the point is that there's a bit of a power play. She's the boss and he's the subordinate.
But does power play mean that you can't both be hot?
Usually when you have that kind of storyline, the guy is like either super young, like he's a model, and then you have like, again, still similar, girl boss, whatever you want to describe it. And then that's the relationship, but it doesn't feel like as tangible and longer lasting. It feels more fling-like, whereas in this, they're trying to say that it's office romance, but there's like this deeper feeling between them, and this could be a bit more of a not romance but actual relationship. And maybe it's a whole point of like the story, or maybe just the fact that he wrote the film. I don't know.
That too.
Yeah.
And apparently he's like been a fan of Jennifer Lopez for a really long time. Basically, has written a fanfic where he gets to date Jennifer Lopez, which is fun. I like the idea that like you get to a level of famous where you can actually meet the people that you found hot. Like, would I do that? Yes,
probably.
Like, would I get to a level as a producer where I'm casting only people that I think are fit?
Yes,
gives me an opportunity to meet them and seduce them.
Yeah,
and now they work for me. And now we're in the film. We're in the power.
That's the crazy part.
And now I'm going to jail.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. But I also I think this film would be more interesting if they had a romance outside of the film, and that was the rumor. Like that would get me more intrigued.
We were talking at a previous time about how the whole pretending to be in a romance is dry. Don't do it. Get out of here.
And I'm like, do it.
But this one, do it.
I think that would make me feel like, oh, at least I know. Maybe I don't see it on screen, but behind the scenes, they're really going at it.
But I feel like this goes back to then the point. The fact that you don't buy them on screen is why you would need the rumor to then make the film work for you. But that shouldn't be the case.
It's true. Because I'm thinking about the other, like, Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez.
I think people say Lawrence.
Jennifer
Lawrence. I don't know. Oh, I have a little point about Jennifer Lawrence, but I'll make a mention to it when we talk about our pop culture news later on.
Okay.
But Jennifer Lopez and her other rom-coms. And Jennifer Lopez, okay, you can say what you like about her other films, but rom-coms, she dominates. And if I think about the other films I absolutely love of her, like Made in Manhattan and Wedding Planner, like, okay, Made in Manhattan, did I find, what's his name, Ralph Fiennes attractive? Not that much.
Not too much.
No. But were there a good parent? Yeah, but it's because the power play, he was the one.
Oh, so you're saying that they felt like equals in that?
In terms of the hot, because he became hotter because like, oh, he's, running for Senate or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm understanding is you don't find subordinate men attractive. No, this is good. This is helpful.
No, but then I'll say, let's do the flip. Wedding Planner, Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
I don't find him personally attractive. Maybe I don't do blondes, but like...
Okay, a lot's happening here. She doesn't like subordinate blondes. Continue.
But
Englishman.
But that being said, he is attractive. I think they were equal attractiveness. And it was believable because they are equally as hot. Even though I don't find him as attractive, they're equally as hot. So
do you think you have to find someone attractive in a rom-com for the rom-com to be like, this is my jam? Like, what's your favourite rom-com?
Oh, that you put me on the spot.
I'm really sorry.
You put me. I don't.
Well, I'll let you think. While you're thinking,
I don't think I even have.
You think. Don't look anything up.
I really want to
dig into the depths of your soul.
Okay.
When someone says rom-com, what's the first thing that comes into your head?
I don't think what I'm thinking is a rom-com. Like, I thought of 2 Weeks Notice, but I don't think that's a rom-com at all.
But if you find it romantic,
I do. I remember finding that film very calming. Devil Wears Prada is not a rom-com.
While you're thinking, I just want to mention...
Tell me your thoughts and then also tell me what your favourite rom-com is as well.
Okay, so when you were talking about the dynamic, I'm like, oh, usually it's a young guy. That's quite literally the plot to Baby Girl, which is a film that came out a couple of years ago, Nicole Kidman and Harris Dickinson, where Nicole Kidman's like the CEO and Harris Dickinson is like an intern that starts working there, and then they start having an affair. And then it's like, what, are you going to leave your husband and your kids to be with this like 24-year-old? And equally, he's kind of like, what do you want from me? And it starts to be a bit like, oh, he's annoying. But now how do you get yourself out of the fact that you've been fucking an intern without basically destroying your entire life? I find throwing the sort of wild abandon that would lead you to have sex with like a 24-year-old when your entire life hangs in the balance crazy. I think the whole way through the film I was like, this is not how can you be an intelligent person? But also their relationship is very the flip, right? It's like, oh, in our real lives, I'm your boss, you're my subordinate. In our sexual engagement, you're Big Daddy and I'm the baby girl.
Yeah, true.
And that power play was interesting. I didn't love the film. It also feels like the ending just sort of was like, like we need to end the film now. But I did find in terms of their hotness, I think they were quite equally matched. Like, obviously there's an age difference between the two of them, but like Nicole Kidman now even and Harris Dickinson now I think are well matched. Nicole Kidman in her heyday and Harris Dickinson, she would have probably outmatched him, but she was so she is a very gorgeous woman. Like if you've seen Moulin Rouge or if you've seen what's Eyes Wide Shut, I get why she was such a big film star why she has been such a big film star. But I do think they have to be of equal hotness. Like if 500 Days of Summer wouldn't work.
That is my favourite rom-com.
That's insane.
That is my favourite rom-com. Sorry.
Is crazy.
Yes, that is my favourite rom-com. It was between that and I was thinking Bridget Jones' Diary is good. There's another film I can't remember the name of that I really did love between.
Mamma Mia.
No.
But I was going to say.
Yeah, go on.
Before you jumped in and stole my film. No, joking.
Yeah. You go.
No, I wasn't going to say that was my favourite. But if 500 Days of Summer would not work if you did not believe that these two people could have ridden off into the sunset together.
Yeah.
And you need that.
Yeah.
That whole film hinges on the fact that like, even though she's like this manic pixie dream girl, all of that stuff, those two are evenly matched in the face.
True.
Of course she is prettier than he is, I think, but because women always are.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you're watching a rom-com and you're like, damn, that guy is a 20 out of 10 and the girls are 4.
Yeah. No, yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But those two felt very evenly. It made the whole film feel very real and like lived in as a result.
Yeah. And you're right. I think why I love that film, it feels the most relatable. Like it doesn't feel like two gorgeous, I mean they're beautiful, but two like mind-blowingly attractive movie stars are getting together because they're both hot and they've just put them into a movie. Yes. Felt like this was like a real life couple of like they've just met and they fell in love and they have problems, and I think that's why I do love, and I can't believe I didn't think of remember it, but I do when I watch it I just feel a calmness the same way I do when I watch 2 Weeks Notice, and Something New is the film I was thinking of with Now Lathan that I really do love. It's just very calming, but it feels like a very realistic romance that's built on a realistic relationship, and you forget about the hotness of the people because it just is about the meet cute and the building and then the tension and the flirtation and then they get together and all that. So that's why I don't really feel like that level of hotness as much, but you do need them to be attractive and it does need to be believable. And I think in answer to your question, yes, maybe they need to match.
Unless that's
part of the storyline.
Because as you're saying that, I thought I've just remembered Knocked Up, and in Knocked Up, obviously the whole point is that you've got Katherine Heigl, and then Seth Rogen.
I would turn off that movie so quickly because I'm not turn off like literally, but I just wouldn't buy it.
See, but that's the point of the film. It's like she gets drunk at a club one night, has sex with this guy, and now they're having a baby. And it's not like that quick and simple, but she wants to have this baby. And now you're learning who this guy is, rather than like, oh, the build up of two people falling in love. It's more of like two people who are now forced together, learning. Yeah. Oh my God, we are actually not right for each other at all. And what would we have to do to become right for each other? And do you do that for someone you slept with once? Like, how does that work? I really like that film because it was just very funny, but I feel like I've mentioned it because that's a film where the premise acknowledges the fact that like these two people would never have got together, rather than like just putting a random guy and a random gorgeous woman together and being like, no, they do find each other attractive. It's like she likes him in the club because he's funny. That's his,
and that's completely fine.
Saving grace, you know. My favorite rom-com is Pride and Prejudice.
The one with
not a rom-com, famously, but
the Keira Knightley one. Yeah. Interesting. I don't think I've fully watched that one. Yeah,
that film
versus the Colin Firth drama.
Yeah, I've watched the Colin Firth drama. He's a great dancer, I'm not trying to say. But I feel like if we're talking about story and power play and then like whether those two people feel matched, like the whole point of that film is really trying to highlight these two people are well matched. So it's like by the end, I'm like, I buy this 100%. They've done the work that they need to do to be a good match to each other.
And they're dating the equal level of hotness.
Yeah, I mean, some people, obviously at the time people thought Keira Knightley was like the most beautiful woman that ever existed. I feel like, you know, we can be more honest now. She is
handsome.
I did not want to say handsome, but that was the word in my head. She is a striking.
Yeah.
How do I say?
I get what you mean. Like, it's not like not unconventional. I think she's just like I would say conservative, but that's the wrong word. But it's like handsome.
The woman is not ugly. The woman is not ugly, but she's not like
plain Jane.
She's not crossed the road.
Yeah.
We need to talk about how gorgeous. Like, she's not a girl that's getting beat at in a car.
No,
that's the mark.
She's just a pretty, elegantly beautiful woman.
We're gonna get cancelled. This will be what we end up getting cancelled. But we've gone so long, and then for some reason, Keira Knightley has made us.
Yeah. If someone called me handsome, well.
Handsome woman. That is walk into the sea.
Yeah, that
Just
is.
Give it up. That's my first.
I think it just like there's a word that's not like handsome, but it's basically just saying like she's like an acquired taste.
I don't think she's an acquired taste. I have the opposite thing. I think she has a very normal,
like a conventional face.
Yeah,
but
it's not excessively gorgeous.
You can see Keira Knightley is walking down the street basically.
That's my point.
In Chelsea.
She's an average-looking woman, but that sounds bad.
Handsome.
I
get what you mean.
Maybe at the time there were not a lot of people that looked like her, and that's why people kind of went a bit crazy. But I feel like by this point we can say like Keira Knightley, she's no Angelina Jolie, is she?
Yeah, I think maybe that's a bit.
Oh my God, what am I talking about? My favourite rom-com is Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Really?
Two equally attractive people.
That is a good example.
Which we've talked about before. I've said that is a hot film about hot people.
And the thing is, when they put it on TV and did the Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we had reservations.
Yeah, but we said you have to
get equally matched.
Two equally hot people.
And I mean, transparently, the TV show did show that they're not. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it regardless because I loved the story.
And who do you think was punching in that relationship?
Donald Glover, 100%.
Right answer.
Yeah, 100%.
I was a bit scared.
No. He tried. He wanted us to so buy it, shirtless and all. But the thing is, when he's short torso, it's really hard.
You hate that man.
I was watching This Is America, the video, and again I was like, wow, what a short torso, but also what a great song, and also how apt that song is 5, 6, 7 years later.
Yeah, I saw people talking about how it's actually cringe that he made that song, but I feel like that's it's Gen Z's response to like where we're at in the world, being like, well, what is this song going to do? Which is completely fair. What is this song going to do? And what did it do? We still ended up where we ended up.
Yeah.
But Donald Glover, Brett Goldstein are two people that like, for some reason, it just doesn't give sex appeal. And what are you supposed to do when you're an actor and you just don't have that?
Do roles that suit your appeal. That suits your appeal. Brett
Shoshana said you are supposed to be the best friend in the rom-com.
No, but
you're not the
maybe
boy
he's not supposed to be the rom-com. He's great in Ted Lasso. As a comedian, maybe he needs to do more comedic roles. The romantic part, let's just leave that. But then that being said, when I watched Ted Lasso,
there is a romantic element.
There is.
Yeah.
And I think I'm happy.
He's not all they want, though.
He does. But I'm intrigued by it because it's like the part letter D storyline versus it being the A storyline. Him being the romantic, not even interest, because J-Lo is a romantic interest.
No, he is also the romantic interest. She's romantically interested in him.
Yeah, true, but like that's the A story. And that is what I'm finding quite difficult to engage with. Maybe what I'll do is I'll wake up again and watch the rest of the film and let you know.
We did say we were going to do a list one time where we said what actors have it, what actors don't. And maybe the follow-up, we need to do that. And we also need to do what actors have it, sex appeal, and what actors don't.
And didn't we say what actors would be more likely to have a black girlfriend? Or maybe that was like my dream.
That might have been a dream, but I'm happy to play that game with you as well. I think that was something we discussed on the podcast. I think we were talking about how there was a storyline where someone had a black wife, and I was like, I don't buy this. Yeah. I do not buy for a second that he has a black wife.
The guy that was, you know, that thriller at the beginning of the year with the guy that was in the bear, the brother who passed away in the bear.
Yes, John Bernthal.
Yeah, who I do really like, but he could have a black wife. He does not.
What was the?
Oh, that film. That film. It was a miniseries.
Oh my God, yes. With Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, that one. I was like, I buy it. I bought it all the way.
Baby, I'm
in 100%.
And it was set in Atlanta. Yeah. Okay. Some of you lot have it. Black wife.
Yeah, they should. Who could have a black wife effect? Yeah.
You think Brad Goldstein could play a man with a black wife?
I don't know. Because he doesn't give fully white either.
That's fair.
Yeah. I called him Gold Bretstein, and now I can't.
She did call him Gold Bretstein. And you think Gold Bretstein has a black wife?
No, Gold Bretstein does not. No, I don't know. Let me finish watching the film and I'll make my judgment. But so far in the halfway, I think it's only 45 minutes in, he's not given me sex appeal. Even the fact that they've had sex by this point, I didn't buy it.
Okay, to wrap this segment up, name one actor that you are desperate to see in a rom-com.
Okay, that's really hard. The thing, I'm really finding it hard even to name my favourite rom-coms. Okay, but I think this is now going to go back into who am I finding attractive on screen. I'm not finding that many. But I did. Okay, this is my hot take. There are.
You want to kiss Jacob Elordi?
Wait, excuse me. Hold up.
Why did you
hot take? I said this is my hot take. This year there was probably a couple of actors that people assumed will be like overexposed.
Okay.
One being Zendaya because she's got so many things coming.
Can't wait for June.
See, I mean, she's doing a lot. She's doing a lot. We're going to talk about Euphoria coming up. The other person would have been Pedro Pascal because he has also been in a lot of projects.
Yeah, but he was overexposed last year.
But the person I think is overexposed is actually Common Domingo.
No, never.
No. But the thing is,
never.
But that's my thing. You would think he's overexposed, but I don't think he actually is.
Give me more.
Yeah, he's just doing a lot of projects, but that it doesn't feel like it. But no, like literally, I think when I finished watching Euphoria, I was like, "Darn, he was in Euphoria too." Because he's in Michael, Euphoria, 4 seasons. What other thing has he been in?
He's working
hard. So who I want to see in a rom-com? Common Domingo, baby.
Damn, that's going to be Common Domingo. I think he's absolutely brilliant.
And this guy's in his 50s.
In his 50s, he's so handsome.
Yeah, he's very, very handsome.
His body, he dressed good.
Yeah.
He probably smells amazing.
That's why I've seen everyone's comments like, you can just tell this guy smells good.
I've been seeing clips from he went on to Amy Poehler's podcast, Good Hang.
Okay, yeah.
And he's wearing this green sweater t-shirt thing. And I was like, that looks like it smells.
Yeah.
You look like you walk in the room and it's like,
yeah.
It's like a gust of just exactly the perfume you want to smell. I don't want to say a perfume because someone's like, I don't like when it's musky. I love that.
You can just tell when he walks past you that the smell lingers and you're like, and you're like, who's there? Yeah. Who's there?
He also seems like genuinely good vibes as well. Yeah. So I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
Get your coins. Put him in a Marvel film, let him clean up and then we never see him again.
So that's what I mean. Like, I feel like weirdly, you would think Common Domingo is overexposed because he's in so many projects, but I don't feel that way. I just feel like, oh, wow, Common Domingo. And maybe it's because he's not like, the roles he's doing is chunky, but he's not doing any big leading roles. Maybe that's helping as well with the balance.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. Yeah. I'm going to try and pick a different person.
Yeah, and I also want to pick another guy as well. Actually a girl. Maybe I'm going to pick a girl.
Yeah, that's
Quinta Brunson.
Quinta Brunson, I think, would be great in rom-coms. Quinta Brunson and Coleman Domingo starring.
I don't think I can see that. No.
Starring.
No.
This is great. This is a hard question. I'm trying to think about people I've seen recently where I've been like, I would love to see more of you.
Yeah, like you can be on my screen.
Weird, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo is such a good shout. Damn it. I might be stumped by my own question. How embarrassing.
No.
I don't want to say someone just to say someone.
Yeah, but I do.
But
is there any, I don't know who
the other girls have done it. Like Sydney Sweeney's been in a rom-com, and Di's been in. Well, we call the drama a rom-com.
Yeah, for the most part.
Sure, let's do it. I would love to see the guy who plays Alamo in more rom-coms.
Who's Alamo?
Alamo in Euphoria. He's a guy who runs. What do you mean? Who's he? Just watched the season. He runs the strip club.
No, same.
That's what I want to see.
Same. There was he had presence. My guy
about him.
About him.
About him.
He was like, get in the water, get closer.
When are we gonna get a cute middle-aged black rom-com? Oh, you want him to be white?
I said big guy, big.
He is. Yeah, because you're always gonna go for the low-hanging fruit. I'm talking about two people in their late 40s. Heading into their 50s, finding love again after I don't know, maybe his wife has died and now he's out playing the field again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's stories out there.
No, I want him. I want him to do it. I want him to do it. And in the film, I want him to put on a British accent, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Wow, that was so good." Psych.
We're doing the reverse now. The Americans are getting the British job.
Ooh.
I know there's another guy out there in my head, but I just can't think of it.
I can't either.
I really can't.
Oh, I know.
Go on.
No. I was saying, I did think this because we were talking about Insecure earlier. I think Lawrence should do more rom-coms because, like I said, I think the relationship aspects of Insecure are actually unmatched.
Yeah, true.
I don't think it got enough credit for the way it drew that couple, the way it wrote them, the way it brought them back together, pulled them apart in a way that didn't make you feel like, oh, you're just sort of smashing people together because it's the end of the thing. It felt like, oh, I think these two people do genuinely love each other and should be together.
Yeah.
And that they could still have fun with each other. Like, they genuinely have fun in a way that, like, I feel like shows write couples and say that they have fun together, but we actually get to see them like bounce off each other, make each other laugh, and that's quite charming.
Yeah, it was, and it felt real towards the end, especially like after they broke up, they had to live their lives separately, and then when they came back together, it was like, oh, okay, like this feels like a mature relationship.
It does,
even though he had the baby mama and all that stuff,
but she didn't need to do all that, Condola. And actually, in previous seasons, I was like, we give Condola a hard time. Now, I don't know about you, Condola, actually.
I know. I don't
think she's a villain, but about you. Yeah. I don't know about you, because you kind of was a spanner in it. You was a snake in the grass a little bit. Anyway, should we get to pop culture news? Or do you have...
No, I don't. I'm sure I'm going to think of another guy. I know there's another guy that I would love to see in the rom-com, but I don't know if he's going to end up falling into the Brett Goldstein issue where, like, I've watched him in a serious role. I just can't think of it. I just can't think. I've seen him in a serious role, and now I'm seeing him in a romantic sense, and I'm like,
it's not working. It's not working.
So anyway, let's go to pop culture news.
Okay.
Where do we start?
You wanted to say something about Love Island, so I think we should start with that because it has started.
Love Island has started, and crickets.
Oh. It is receiving the lowest viewing numbers of any season so far.
Rightfully so. So I knew that I wasn't going to watch Love Island once I saw the cast video where they were talking about their types, and everyone was like, oh, what's your type? Blonde, brunette, the black guy, Ope, or Op, whatever they call it.
His mum's white. He's adopted.
Yeah, I know. So OP, sorry, OP saying, oh, I'm really looking for like a Sabrina Carpenter, like blonde Scottish girl.
Why Scottish in particular? That's so weird.
Specific. I know. So basically, by the time everyone described what their types were, all the guys described their type, and all the girls described their type, I was like, well, it's very clear that no one is going to pick the only black girl in this cast. I'm not going to put myself through a humiliation ritual to watch this black girl be not chosen season after season after season. I'm not even going to try and dip back in or like do what I've done in previous seasons where I've seen the writing on the wall and then I give up on it. I don't care enough to watch it.
I also think we have aged out of the demographic for this show.
Yeah,
like these are kids now that are going on it. And it's like, I just don't care about this shit anymore. Do you?
No. And I think it's rightfully so. And so, like, I think my sister told me, oh, like, Love Island started today. I was like, sorry, it started a week ago, my friend.
It's been
on. But I don't care to watch it. I don't care to watch the clips. I mean, I've seen stuff on TikTok, like now there's another black guy who's checking for the black girl. Great. Love it for her. But am I engaged? No. There is Love Island USA also going at the same time. I've seen more of those clips, but am I that intrigued? Probably not as much as I was with I'm sorry, Nicolandra pulled me in.
You were pulled in by Nicolandra. I've seen people again. Are we going to do this every year? Where the conversation is, wow, Love Island it is not diverse. Even though it's diverse, they don't bring in people that want to date the people of color. It's like, this is every season now.
Yeah.
And maybe because obviously there are new people who are watching it, this feels like a fresh conversation to them.
Yeah,
but to me, as an old head,
I'm like,
no. Here we go again.
Literally, you can do. There's a whole like Rolodex of black girls who have been disregarded. Yewande.
You could do a whole season just with those girlies.
Exactly. I just don't have time to watch that again. And like, we've talked about dating shows, the betrayal of black female contestants specifically, and how that impacts like the desirability aspects. Like I saw like on TikTok, them saying like the other issue of like putting black girls into shows where no one has her as her type or is not willing to date outside or date a black girl, is that you're also feeding this kind of mentality into the minds of young black girls that are watching this show going, I'm not desirable enough, because everyone wants to have a brunette and a blonde girl who's Sabrina Carpenter. Like, I'm exaggerating here, but like that idea of like this portrayal is also what's like turning me off completely. Like, I just don't have time for it.
Neither do I. Yeah. The fact that like, again, we've had this conversation every single season and the needle never moves. They don't care. Okay, they don't care about the proper representation. And I feel like, I was going to say as black people, we should learn better, but like it always comes down to this. There's so few shows, as we were saying off air, there's so few black shows on right now that any representation, you're going to flock towards it. And so there probably are a lot of black people watching this and who are like, oh, here we go again. And because there's nothing else to watch. And so it is going to rile you up even more that this is the only thing where you're seeing someone who looks like you and then she's getting paid dust.
I know.
It's not nice.
I'm going to stand by my thoughts. Like, transparently, if you're a black female contestant that's going on Love Island, I'm so sorry. You get what you get. Because the writing is on, I know I've said this so many times and I know it's like problematic for me to say this, but like, you have seen season on season on season on season what's happened. And if the producers are saying, oh, this year will be different, we're going to bring guys who, like these guys, they all across the board. They all open to different girls. But each time they film them like, what's your type? Blonde, blue eyes, Scottish. I keep going back to Scottish.
Go back to Scottish.
But like,
it's interesting though, but how would we feel if someone, if there was a white man, he was like, black, my type is black?
Yeah, I know.
Would we be rooting for him or would we be scared for our lives?
I know it's a contradiction because we'll be like, that's a fetish and that's a big
red
flag.
Off the show.
But I think I need people who are like willing to date outside the race. I'll just stop talking about type and just watch.
But I feel like they probably do push them into saying something. Like, could you be like, oh, I don't really have a type. Like, if she's fit, she's fit, innit?
Well, actually, like Love Island USA, like let's take a leaf out of their book. I think there's guys that go on there and like, yeah, I like. Oh God, how do they describe it though? Because it could range from like
titties, like ass,
exotic.
Yeah, I feel like if someone's like, I'm an ass man, it's kind of like as if they're trying. That's a subtle way to be like,
I'm down. I'm down.
You know what? Damn.
Exactly. I mean,
I like the girlie with the jerk in the trunk.
Oh God.
And you can see it from the front.
Well, they're bringing on the first bi contestant on Love Island USA. I saw it on social. Not on UK. They're never going to do that.
Also, the way that we treat people who even are remotely femme presenting on this show.
LGBTQ. Betty!
Now you will never survive. Even this au pair, when he was going on, the way they was digging up pictures of him being like, good luck. It's giving free. Homophobia is alive. And wow,
I still think of Mehdi. I'm so sorry.
Rip to Mehdi, innit?
Mehdi got it.
He sucked as well.
He did. Have you seen recently though?
What? Ooh.
But still.
Does that change anything?
No, absolutely not. Oh. Absolutely not. But yeah, sorry to that man. Sorry to Love. No, I don't even apologize to Love Island. I'm so sorry. Love Island. I'm so sorry. It's done. It's done now. Like, and I do agree with you. We have 100% aged out because I think someone from work was asking me about Love Island, and I was just like, yeah, just don't watch it. I have no interest in watching it. And I wasn't gonna be like for the race reason, but like it's not just race anymore. I just think I'm not interested. But I still watch the other dating shows, like Perfect Match. We watched. Did I give a high rating? No.
How does it work though? Like, would you have stuck through? Like, would you have watched the entire season if you didn't need to do it for the pod? There you go. You're right, and I feel the same. Like, I'm not excited to sit down and watch a show where it's going to be unrepresentative. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Not uninclusive.
Yeah.
For the whole thing. Like, the point of Love Island is to watch people fall in love, but you have to watch it as a black person knowing that you might not get to see someone who looks like you fall in love.
No, so
they're going to get played, they're going to be crying.
Yeah.
They're going to get ducked from the island.
So
it's okay.
Why would I do that? I think we've had some real highlights throughout our Love Island watching journey over the years. Not just from a pod, but like even before then. There's so many infamous moments. I think to me, maybe the cherry on the top, maybe that's like the finishing, like the final chapter was like the Nick Calandria and Love Island USA, and I did really enjoy that season just through social. Again, I wasn't watching it.
Yeah.
And again, that's also a sign of like, okay, different country, different region, but like just I'm not as engaged in watching like day-to-day 9 p.m. shows like that.
Yeah, it's not that.
It's not. So.
But like, you know, shout out and rip to the summers where we really did race home. Someone showed a clip of like, oh, you had to be there, and it was obviously it's Amber's season of Love Island when what's his name is what was that? I can't remember what the guy she was dating his name is now, but he was in Destiny's Childish, and he had decided to recouple after Casa Amor, and then
God,
you just hear you can hear Amber's heels like clumping. And everyone is all the girls are just looking at the floor, looking at their hands or covering their faces.
I can see his face.
Michael.
Yeah.
That was it. And then she comes around the corner. I'm like, you don't know what it was like to watch that live. Yeah. To be in the house furiously texting your friends, be like, what the fuck, Michael? I remember like our group chat was everyone was watching that season by force. Yeah. Oh, that was a good time. That was a good time. That was youth. Yeah. You know? And now we're old ladies about to talk about the ending of the Summer House reunion. Yeah, Summer House. Yeah, that's been a show as well. No, it's not even finished. Oh. Because there's more. No, there's one more episode called Summer House, The Aftermath. When I saw that trailer, I was like, they're milking it. But I know, and I kind of understand why. The problem was, on the Summer House reunion, if you watch all 3 episodes, it is very clear Amanda and Wes gave nothing. Like, we have to have an extra episode where they are taken out of the reunion environment. So I think that was probably what's added to the stress. So it's just going to be the 2 of them? Well, it's them doing one-on-one conversations with certain people in the cast. So it's first... How is that better? No, but it be like... So Wes is having a chat with Kyle, who's Amanda's ex-husband. Yes. Or ex-husband to be. Amanda's having a chat with Lindsay, the woman that was like, the thing about you, Wes, is that you're so good, but actually I see through this. So she's gonna have a chat with Amanda because they were close-ish because they're on the In the City show. And then Sierra's having a chat with Miha, who is Wes' girlfriend. Yeah, because he had a girlfriend during the filming of the show, but he was trying to keep her secret. I think we mentioned this, right? Because I said he went on Watch What Happens Live. And he was like, she made a tie. So you were dating that girl, but you guys were in your little situation talking, and that's why we need to put out. Can you imagine being the girlfriend reading this statement? She's just like, what about? Like, we're committed. You're in my bed. Exactly. We're in an exclusive relationship. I set up your furniture. That's what she did. Girl, why are you doing so much for someone who's so mid? You're doing so much for someone who's so mid. You have to remember. Do you know what I was thinking? I've been thinking about this recently. Self-esteem is important. Yeah. Because if you think that you think you're the shit, but you actually deep down don't, that's how you end up with someone like that. Like, it's not always about looks, like, oh, you should be dating a 10 out of 10. If he clearly doesn't care about you or respect you, it's a cut off. And for him to have you as a girlfriend, have his ex that he's still kind of lingering around, be talking to his ex's friend, and enough for the person to put out a statement to say that we're dating. You guys can't tell me he was giving you 100% of his attention. And I think that's something we can say across the board. Miha, Amanda, Sierra. I'm so sorry. Like, I love Sierra, but Sierra, like, we've got to be real. Like, there wasn't much you were getting from him. And for someone who is so into like the commitment, and she's described herself a bit more traditional in terms of how she views relationship. You should have known that Wes wasn't it, but it's hard because she fell for him, and he did give her signs that he was interested. Like, she met his parents. Like, so many of those steps happened in their first round, and then now him coming back again, and she feeling so close, and him being the best friend that she's always had, and you have Mia, your friend,
who helps you there.
But even like what you're saying, like that you have her saying that she's got this traditional view of relationships, and then here's this person that actually doesn't feel like he aligns with that at all, but you still continue to pursue him.
That's like, I mean, girl.
Okay, yeah, you fell in love, but because you continue to pursue him, why, if you feel like intentions why what you're looking for is X, why would I entertain anything romantic with you when you don't want the same stuff that I want?
I mean, that's a question I've always had with Sierra, or for Sierra, if I could speak to her, like, what is it about him? Because she was hooked the minute he walked in with his mullet, half mullet, whatever hairstyle he had.
Because maybe she doesn't really want the things that she says she wants.
True.
Maybe she says maybe she thinks she wants them because that's what you ought to want.
And then you meet someone who's like, oh, this is not my type, but actually he kind of like, I like that he's just a bit, I think you mentioned it before, like he's punching and maybe there's a thrill. Going back to what we talked about in the beginning of the episode, like you kind of want to be equally matched with your rom-com partner.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there are some girls out there who get a thrill of dating someone who is not in their sphere or not in their league, because there's a power play.
There's also, now that we're talking about it, there's the looks matching, but there's also a personality matching. And maybe she genuinely felt like his personality was a 10 and hers was a 4. And so she was so lucky that this person wanted to orbit, like this person was allowing her to orbit him, as opposed to like what we from the outside see, which is like he's punching and he's not that funny.
No, and actually, if you, and I know you said you weren't going to watch Summer House, but for someone who's watched it, especially over the last couple of seasons, Sierra had kind of gone through this kind of, well, for her, maybe a personality refresh. Like in the previous season, she used to be, well, she's part of the group called like the Bedbugs, aka they always stay in bed. They never really go out. She's kind of a bit reserved, a bit cold for some people, like just in terms of her personality. She's not like the most bubbliest of people. And in this season, she was like, I really want to break that. I don't want people to think I'm cold. I don't want people to think that I'm not like outgoing. So she went out more often. She was just a bit more like, she's more lively. And she's actually a really fun person. I think deep down she's really fun, but I think she's probably not dissimilar to like us. Like you need to be with people, you need to get to know them to feel like you can get your guard down and feel comfortable. And that's just who she is. And it's quite hard to portray that on a TV show without people thinking, oh, she's a bit So for her, she wants to get more out of her shell. Whereas when Wes came, he was outgoing and, one of the lads. I mean, was he the alpha lad? No, he was just,
But do you have to date the alpha?
No, you don't. I think he was like a good time. And I think that's probably what attracts her to him as well. Like, oh, they can have a good time. He's a good laugh. He sees her, quote unquote.
God, never underestimate the when you have not felt seen.
And then
you do think you've been seen.
Yeah. Because by his actions alone, there's no way he has seen her.
It's heartbreaking, and that feels like even a double betrayal, because especially if you're a very guarded person, to have, I don't know, lowered your walls, or have, when somebody sees you despite all the walls you put up, you feel so like, this, you got to be the one, because you saw past like
everything,
and for that person to be like, well, no, I just happen to be good at reading people.
And all I want to do was have a bang and then go. I mean, she said something at the end of the finale of the reunion, like to Amanda specifically, that she felt incredibly hurt as a friend because she had spent so much time trying to uplift Amanda. She had, taken time outside of the show. Like they weren't just friends for the show, but she always wants to uplift Amanda, like try and check in on her, especially when she was going through the rough patches in her relationship. And then, for her to then chuck it in her face by sleeping with the ex. And she said that Wes got with Amanda to spite Sierra. And I don't think I necessarily agree.
Because that feels like now they've got a deep-seated, like, anonymity. Oh, God, I can't remember the word.
Anonymity?
No, basically, we're beefing.
Okay.
I think it's enmity, but that doesn't sound right. Either. Anyway, we have to live our lives.
Yeah. But I get what you mean. Like, I don't think it's as deep-seated, because especially when you see Amanda and Wes together in the reunion, they looked like they didn't have enough brain cells to concoct a plan to get Sierra. They were both phased out. Wes was on a beta blocker because even Andy had to ask him if he was. Amanda was very zoned out. She cried. She left in part 2. She left the reunion for about 25, 30 minutes. Everyone was like, where's she gone? You have to come and face the music. So they were a bit just distant, and they were just kind of like accepting everything. But unfortunately, on TV, we needed you to speak up. And also when they eventually did speak up, it was usually rubbish. The timeline did not align. It was just a mess. It was a mess. So yeah, I'm gonna watch the aftermath because I'm hooked. I'm hooked into what's this drama. They've got me. They really did. And when I watched the reunion, the third part, I was like, I'm not hating it, even though like for me, the 3 parts is done. Like we're good. But do I feel satisfied in terms of the outcome? Probably not, because they're still together. They're currently in Italy, holidaying it up. So nothing's changed. I mean, West is probably going to do what he did to Sierra with Amanda in one state, but I think he's going to try and keep hope alive because he kind of has to stay with her. You put out a whole statement, there'll be so much embarrassment if they broke up straight away.
They've got to figure out a way to play it that will not immediately lead to humiliation, right? If you end
more humiliation.
Now it's like, so what was all of this for? And also, this is clearly going to do great for the show in terms of ratings. People are going to now go back and rewatch the season so they can engage in the drama. Like, low-key, this is going to be good for us.
It is. And so I think it's not even just good on the ratings. Kyle, soon to be ex-husband, he had a business called Loverboy, which is like this like spritzer company, and apparently the drinks are not that great. And that business was going in the red, like losing so much money. He talks about it on the show. Since the whole scandal, sales have gone up. The business is going on the rise. Bizarre. It's crazy. It's actually crazy.
Why would that make me want to buy your drinks?
No, I know. Maybe it's like, oh, poor Kyle. Like,
no, for real. I know. That's crazy.
I know. So like,
since you said he wasn't a great husband to her, he was like quite mean to her.
Yeah, I know he was mean. He was not a great husband. And if this scandal didn't happen, he would have been the villain. But
we really are quick to hate women, though. So like,
so quick.
Amanda's not helped herself at all.
Even West, for everything. West is the Homer Simpson meme of him falling into the bushes, stepping away. I don't know. I think the biggest tell after this whole aftermath thing will be who's coming back next season. My worry is that they're going to bring them all back. And I'm perfectly honest, it's not like I don't want Amanda and West to come back because like of the drama and the scandal. I don't want them to come back because they're going to bring nothing. They brought nothing to the reunion. They could have done 2 things. They could have stood 10 toes down, like, we're a relationship, it is what it is, and been the villains and leaned into it. And they would obviously have been brought back just because it gives great story. But because they were so blasé and despondent, I think maybe the wrong word, but they just didn't.
Despondent.
Yeah. Yeah. They just didn't bring anything. As a viewer, I don't want to watch a show where the cast don't bring anything. And actually, that's even worse than them taking themselves into the villain edit. Or they could have been more like compassionate, maybe the wrong word, but more willing to like ask for forgiveness, which they also didn't want to do either. So they didn't give a stand or give us a stance, which means as a viewer, I'm sitting there going like, what is the point? What was the point?
How long after the reunion has the aftermath been recorded?
That's a good question. I think it was probably filmed like last month. So and the reunion was in mid-April.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think maybe a couple of weeks. I don't know, 3 weeks I think it is afterwards.
Because I feel like for the aftermath to have any real effect, it needs to offer something that you couldn't get from the reunion. Like, if they're going to come into the aftermath in the same mindset, why? What's the point?
What's the point? I think it's because, I do think the aftermath is going to be probably futile because they're still together. As we've seen, we've seen them have on a holiday in Italy for West's either friend or family wedding. So they're still together. So again, there's no payoff. Because I think if they're broken up, and I know it's really a wish a downfall in someone's relationship, but if they're broken up, it'd be like, oh, well, it makes sense, but there's no change.
Yeah.
I think the biggest tell will be when they film the new season, which again is called Summer House. So they will start filming in the summer, which is usually around like August time, like July, August time.
It's quite late.
For summer.
Yeah, because it means you really got a month to record.
Yeah, but they only film for like a month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's just following them during the summer.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that will be telling. I don't think, my guess is that they'll be broken up after the summer. But if they both come back, they'll be together for the show. I just can't imagine them in the house. I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Should we get to the big one?
Let's do it. Euphoria.
Yeah,
season 3. Euphoria series 3 is back after, Jesus, how many years? And I should have done that research first.
Yeah, now we've all got to sit here in silence while you look up how long. I was going to say
like 5 years.
If you feel like that, then let's go with that.
Okay, no, it's after 4 years. So season 1 was in 2019, just before the pandemic. Season 2 was January the 9th, 2022. And season 3 is 2026. So it's actually 7 years and 3 seasons. I made a joke to Marnie that Euphoria took 7 years to pop out, whereas, The Bear is knocking out a season each year, and they're reaching their final. Yeah, and they're reaching their final season.
To be fair, The Bear's episodes are half hour.
True. Which
is quicker to make.
Yeah, true.
But I do think season 3 of Euphoria was obviously affected by the meteoric rise of all of the main cast of that show.
Exactly. And I think you could say The Bear kind of has had a bit of that, but with the meteoric rise of all the cast, they've been able to work it around their schedules so that they are...
Yeah, because they pump the seasons out really quickly.
True. I think they filmed some of the seasons together.
Yeah, maybe.
So that helped. Yeah, but you're right. Series 3, we have that 4-year gap because everyone had blown up. Zendaya was already big.
I think also at some point during that gap, that was some 2 things. Sam Levinson said that this season would be centered around Angus Cloud's character. He obviously passed away.
Yeah.
I think 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Which required the entire season to be rejigged. So I'm sure that added a lot of time to the production schedule, because if you have to rewrite an entire season, that's not a month-long job at all. Yeah. And then the other thing is, obviously, he wanted a time jump for the characters.
Yeah.
The time jump for the characters doesn't really affect the actors because they already are older than these characters, right? It's been 7 years and technically only 2 years has passed in show world.
Yeah.
So they are now in their 30s basically. So jumping forward 4 years, which is kind of roughly what the show ends up doing, we leave them in season 2 graduating from high school, so they're 18.
Yeah.
We meet them at 22.
Jesus.
And some of the storylines felt very incongruent with them being 22.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like some of the positions that they were in I felt
it didn't give 22, gave more 32, my friend.
Yeah, it gave
close to 42.
You're the burnout. It's been 10 years. You've been sort of bumming around and now you're in this situation.
Exactly.
But work.
Yeah.
We'll go with it.
Maybe we'll just to remind everyone what Euphoria was about to begin with. It followed Rue, played by Zendaya, who was has a drug addiction sparked by her father's death, and it kind of follows her life. I think in series 1 that she had just come out of recovery.
She'd OD'd,
but
she'd come out of hospital.
Yeah, come out of hospital.
Yes.
And it follows her
and gone to rehab and come home.
Yeah. So it follows her in high school and her friends and not friends as well, and her life in high school, and her circle of people in that high school as they're growing up, experiencing what it means to be a teenager, having sex, figuring out what life is, the difficulties in relationships, the issues with family, the elements of drugs, which I think is the through line throughout the whole of Euphoria. And then season 2 kind of builds on that. Yes, she graduates, she ODs again at the end of series 2. One of my favorite, I really love that montage right at the end.
She's not OD at the end of season 2.
I thought she does.
She's clean at the end of season 2.
But what's that moment when she kind of right at the end where she's about to I know it's a dance moment.
That's at season 1.
Oh crap, okay, apologies. Clean season 2, ODs at the end of season 1. And then season 3, as you said, it's a big jump. And they're grown adults, but they're only 22. But it's given grown.
Yeah. I actually think it's a little bit vague how much time has passed. I think it's supposed to be 4 years. I think there's a point where Rue's narration says in the past 4 years, Barbara had done X, Y, and Z. So it's okay, we are 4 years. But someone online was saying that the timeline of this is deliberately murky.
Yeah. But when we're going to talk about it later, when Como Domingo writes the the dates, it's like 24, like the year's like 2024. So, but I also, we don't know whether the year that they're writing for season 1 and season 2 was the 2020s or like 29. If it's supposed to reflect the year of...
Is it the top of season 4 where there's like a reference to the pandemic? Or
season 3, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, it's season 3. Sorry, I don't know why I keep calling it season 4. There was a lost season that only I saw, apparently. But yeah, some kind of reference to the pandemic at one point.
Yeah.
But for the majority of it, yes, I think there is a reference to the pandemic in this season when they're trying to explain like what what Cassian and what is his name? Jacob Elordi's character's name is Nate. What Cassie and Nate how Cassie and Nate got to where they're at, I think. Anyway, so yeah, it's kind of our world, but kind of not.
Yeah.
And it's 2 years behind us and only 4 years since they graduated college.
Yeah.
Graduated high school.
Yeah.
When we start this season, so not to get straight into critiques, but one of my main thoughts about this season is like it lacks the cohesion of the early seasons because the characters are not together, and that's for multiple reasons. And one of the main reasons is they literally couldn't get the actors all in one room at the same time.
Yeah.
But equally, each story kind of intersects with the next one, but not in the way that like the school was their precinct, or this was, but they're going to go to a party and everyone's like, think about all of the like the memorable moments from the earlier seasons, and it's like them all being at something. Like everyone references the fairground episode in season 1, and it's all of these different stories that are intersecting because everyone's at
the same place.
The fair.
The closest thing you get is the wedding. That's the closest.
The closest thing you get is the wedding, and even then it feels contrived. Yeah. Why would these people who haven't spoken in 4 years come to my wedding with the school bully?
Yeah.
Like, also, when they left school, Nate was a piece of shit. Why would I come to Nate's wedding? Oh, because of Cassie. I've not spoken to Cassie in 4 years, and I never even knew her like that.
Some of those scenes were even odd as well, like having Jules and Nate chatting. Like,
no, that makes sense because when we leave, because I think the Sam Levinson's, now my stomach's making noise.
Yeah.
Sam Levinson's aim with Nate was always to kind of portray him as like Jules being the real love of his life.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that at his wedding he would have a conversation with Jules. Yeah. What doesn't make sense is that Jules is at the wedding.
Yeah, that was the thing. And also, you come to my wedding dressed like that?
Come on now. Of course I did.
You come to my wedding dress. I mean, that dress, I remember looking at it going...
It's barely a dress. It's
scraps.
Bits of material attached to your body.
As a fashion designer yourself, you design a dress for a wedding. Like, I really appreciate your expertise in this.
Only Hunter Schafer could wear that because it is literally just, I would be stressed.
Yeah, exactly.
If you asked me to go out in an outfit that's not even technically clothes.
No,
I think
it was. There was no connection. Like,
you know when you were a kid and you would like make an outfit with like a bed sheet. It gave that, but then you cut the bed sheet up and then sort of
patches. Just
nipples are covered, chooch is covered, butthole is covered, and that's it, baby.
Because all I saw was slit of her whole leg.
Can I say something?
Go on.
I recently went to a friend's wedding. As you said, I'm a fashion designer.
Yeah.
One of the guests had a dress where the slit was up to here.
I remember you saying,
And I remember being like, I don't consider myself a conservative person, but like, why am I seeing that?
Yeah.
So much of you.
So at a wedding. Of all places, like,
I wanted to wear maybe a dress with cutouts. I thought that's going to be inappropriate.
Yeah,
There's people's elderly family members here, and you've got a dress up to you, literally
your navel, baby.
What do you even call your hip bone?
Yeah, that's
might as well be out.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. And I think it depends on how her physique is. But if that was an African auntie, there's no way they would be able to wear a dress.
So what auntie?
African auntie.
No, no,
because things would be hanging.
People would give you a scarf to wrap around your waist because, come on, this is the house of the Lord. Even though we weren't even in a church, they would still be like, this is the house of the Lord. Have some respect.
Oh my gosh!
I couldn't even wear a skirt into a cathedral in Milan.
Exactly.
Not even the Vatican.
Oh, they'll get you covered.
And you said
slit all the way up. Yeah, so I just remember that part going, wow, that was a choice. But yeah, the wedding felt like it was the only moment where we got almost the full cast.
Yeah, something that felt closer to what Euphoria has been, which is, I honestly think Euphoria really sings when it takes these individual stories and has them start to weigh in on each other and impact other people's stories. I think that's why the finale had a bit more of it to it, because it's like Ruth's story and Maddie's story and Cassie's story are all starting to stack up a bit more. It was a little bit too, for me, a little too a case of too little too late. We spent too much of the season being like, and now we're in Cassie's story.
Yeah.
And now we're in Ruth's story.
Yeah.
And now we're in Nate's story. And not feeling like these things
coming together
or have an impact on each other.
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, you're giving the viewer the job of having to connect the dots. Because, yeah, as I'm watching it, I think with the first episode, I was like, oh, I'm kind of happy to be in this world again. Because I was, in the lead up to Euphoria, I'm sorry, I'm jumping right to the beginning. In the lead up to Euphoria, there had been, press interviews and press about the series. The sentiment was generally that the series wasn't that great.
Yes.
And the way that...
all the previewers were like, this is awful.
Yeah. And the way that even the talent talks about the show was also quite worrying. Like, yeah, we did it so quickly, or, we've done it. Like, almost like we've ticked this box. Like, Zendaya barely promoted it. I think that's very telling.
She's done with the show.
She's done. And Zendaya's an executive producer. Well, she was in the previous season. I don't know if she's an exec producer for this season, but I assume she would be.
Well, they got rid of Labyrinth. And it seems like they got rid of him very close to when the series was airing. Yeah. So that means that music was made.
Oh, yeah. And that was one thing I didn't like as well.
The music.
The music was terrible. Like, Euphoria 1 and 2, that music element was really
it worked.
So important, yeah. And even like Labyrinth is amazing. Like, even there's some songs from Euphoria that I listen to now. Yes, and it's just a great song. God, I'm Tired, or just I'm Tired. It's such a great song from, I think that's the end of season 2. And she's in the church and it's so good. Plus also Giving It All For Us, or whatever it's called. That is such a good song as well. But this one didn't have anything. And I remember there was a point where I listened to it and I knew what happened with Labyrinth, and I was like, you can feel it though. You can really feel this like vacuous emptiness in the music, and that was a part of the show. It's not like the New York of Sex and the City, but
it was. Not to chat shit about Hans Zimmer, because he's a great...
Oh, did he do that?
Yeah, he did the soundtrack. Right. He is a great musician. But I think that, like, perhaps... And Sam Levinson strikes me as a person who would say something like, I am Euphoria, Euphoria is me. And maybe take for granted that the series really hinges on every single person doing the job. The makeup artists, the stylists, the music, the actors, and then the writing. Like, the writing is so far at the end of what's going on, because the aesthetic of the show is so effective. And a part of that is Labyrinth creating a musical universe for the show as well. Like, I downloaded the soundtrack for the first season, and the songs that appear that are not like written by Labyrinth, but the songs that they chose to be in the soundtrack are so vastly different, but all now to me connect me to the universe of Euphoria. And that takes someone sitting down and being like, I feel like this is what the show is. I feel like this is what we're going to do. And now we are creating a landscape that is going to support what you're seeing, that makes you go, oh, we're in a world.
Yeah.
And to get rid of that person and then hire someone who's going to make... And like I said, I don't think this Hans Zimmer is a bad musician, but the music honestly felt generic.
Exactly. And I think that's why I was like, okay, like...
It felt generic in a season that already felt weird.
Yeah, and it lost its edge. And that's not just the music. That's the thing that's to do with a lot of things. Some of the things you really touched on, like the fact that the characters were disconnected. There wasn't a lot of, like, the storyline didn't make sense until you got to like the last couple of episodes. And we as the viewer, are trying to connect the dots for them. Because at times I kept on thinking, what's the point of this storyline? Or what's like the storyline with Nate and the flowers and the the issue he was having with the house and the fact that it was scamming everyone? Like, where is the link? Like, what's this got to do with Ruth's story? What's this got to do with, like, I get the link with Cassie and why she's going to Hollywood, but
it's not really why as well. I think that's the problem.
Yeah,
I feel like you're completely right.
Yeah.
In the earlier seasons, the show hinged on what was going on with Rue and then what Rue was experiencing of other people's storylines. Like, because Rue is in love with Jules is in love with this mystery person who they don't know. We learn before they do that it's Nate. Like, I was saying, why the Fairground episode is so good is that you put all these characters where we know all this stuff and they don't, and now the joy of this episode is watching them finally connect the dots that we already have known. That moment where Rue and Jules are like walking through the fair and Nate is watching Jules because he knows that Jules thinks she's going to meet the guy she's been talking to on the apps tonight, who is him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jules is looking at his dad being like, that's the guy I fucked. Nate knows that Jules fucked his dad, because that's why he started talking to her. But she still she doesn't know why he would be looking at her while he's looking at the dad. The dad's looking at her being like, oh shit, that's the person that I fucked. Ruth's going, oh my God, that means like your dad is gay.
Yeah.
Or fucks dudes sometimes. It definitely is fucking trans kids who he doesn't know is a kid, by the way. So that's the other thing, is he's realizing, oh my God, I fucked an underage person who goes to school with my kid. And like me and Maddie turns up in that like hooker outfit. It's like, get out of here, but also trying to watch this interaction between like all of this stuff that we know, that we are like, oh my God, all of the episodes that you spent telling us about these people, I get it now, because their lives connect and clash and are going to lead to whatever happens afterwards. The issue between Rue and Jules is that Jules does not want to tell Rue the truth about, like, because she figures out that it's Nate comes up to her. She has an interaction with him and never tells Jules, because he says Jules never tells Rue in that season because he told her not to. And that creates the friction between the two of them as the season goes on. What are you hiding from me? I thought we were best friends. I'm in love with you. Aren't you in love with me? Well, no, because you're in love with Nate, or a guy who turned out to be that. All of that is so well constructed and well unraveled. Then when we get to this season, I honestly struck like that Nate storyline I did not care about. And people were online being like, Nate finally got his just desserts. No, he did not. Because did he deserve to die in a horrible way? Sure, he did. He was not a good guy. But the fact that it wasn't at the hands of one of the many women that he abused on this show. In season 2, he holds a gun to Maddie's head to get the CD back that has the video of his dad fucking Jules. In the previous season, he says to Jules, I will out you to everyone if you ever tell them that you fucked my dad. And I need you to go to the police and say that I was with you and that's why I didn't beat up. Because remember, he beat up that guy who Maddie said that she had raped her at the pool party.
Your memory is, because I did not watch season 1 and 2 before watching 3.
I didn't either.
But you have a great memory, because I've forgotten all of this part of the story.
It's so like, he is awful to women. And for his just desserts to come at the hands of a snake and an Armenian man who buries him on the ground. Like, who is this man? What is this business?
Because we never got an explanation. We just got, hey,
he owes this man money.
You owe us money, and I'm going to beat the crap out of you after your wedding. Like,
because it was a story that clearly, perhaps Sam Levinson had written scenes for it. But then as the series went on, decided we don't need to see that stuff, which is fine. But it then is going to make it not feel earned when he is eventually killed, because we don't get to see him scamming people, really. We just see the end of it. We're seeing the fallout of it. We don't get to see what he did with the money that he acquired from this man. We just see the fallout of it. He literally then does nothing, by the way, as well.
Well, I mean,
he owes all this money.
But he's never, he does. That's why I was like, you kind of do get your just desserts there.
Because he owes all this money.
Cassie's there being prostituting herself, and he's there like, oh, Cassie, bring over the money. Yeah, you should send over 30k. But mind you,
the whole season he feels like a lobotomized version of like the old Nate would have figured out something to blackmail that Armenian man that would mean that he would never have to pay that money.
True.
And the people saying, oh well, the difference is like that was Nate dealing with high school girls. Now he's in the real world and he has no leverage, which is completely fair, right? But then explore that. Explore him at least attempting to do what he has done in the past and it not working. Because in this, all he does is go to a council meeting and say, please let me build this building. Why is this what he wants to do as well? Wasn't he a football player at school? Why is this what he's decided he wants to do with his life?
It feels like that is missing. All we get is Cassie and Nate are in a beautiful home. And
horrible house, by the way.
The yellow was a choice.
Grotesque.
The yellow was a real choice. It was given really 70s, 60s vibes. And I think that's what was confusing. Like the house is giving 70s vibes. The colouring. And actually, it's even the aesthetics of the whole season. The grading, the filming.
I think that was on purpose. To give it that, like
dated,
Western-y.
feel. And so, again, that dates, it kind of, it dates the season, but also it doesn't give you a clear idea of like when these things are happening. Going back to the Nate point, it was not clear the background, how they got the house, why he cares about the housing, why he cares about the flower. I mean, the flowers part we understood, but like, did we? I got the impression that it was rare and it,
and that's why he couldn't finish the construction on the care home that he was trying to build.
But it was a care.
What we didn't get is why that was what he had decided to pin all his hopes and dreams on. Bear in mind as well, he has collected money off these, not just off the Armenians, but off his neighbours.
Yeah.
What has he done with that money? Bought that house?
I wish they explained.
Sell the house.
Yeah. I mean, that could have happened. But also, it needed a bit of explanation.
It wasn't even a nice house. Sell the house. Meanwhile, like, Maddie is already doing OnlyFans before she realizes that, or trying to do OnlyFans before she realizes that the money is gone. Because Sam Levinson's version, Sam Levinson's version of Cassie is she just wants to be famous and will do anything for it, even if it includes whoring herself out.
Yeah.
Which, sure. Let's go with it. Let's go with the version of, like, throughout the series, Cassie has been sexualized. And perhaps there is something liberating about her choosing to sexualize herself, right? I'm happy to go on that journey with you. Except it doesn't feel like that's what it is. It feels like it's like Cassie's like, I want to be famous. I just want to be famous.
It was given real Bonnie Blue.
It was giving Bonnie Blue. It was also in a season that felt very chock-a-block with sex work, and specifically women doing sex work, and this idea that sex work is your only option.
Yeah.
It felt very strange to me, because why not show a bit more variety? The only person who has a job
is the actor girl. What's her name?
Lexi.
Yeah.
Who is working as a writer's assistant in a writer's room, which is very TV about TV. You know how I feel about that. But before we get lost, let's do each character's storyline. So we're on Cassie, let's say it. Cassie and Nate get married. Yeah. At the wedding, she kind of seems like she's getting cold feet, or like she's becoming aware of the fact that she doesn't really know everything there is to know about Nate. By the end of the wedding, she learns that Nate owes a considerable amount of money to some Armenian gangsters for the complex that he is trying to build, which is a care home.
Yeah.
She leaves him, calls Maddie, they've reconnected because she had already reached out to Maddie to be like, I want to be successful on OnlyFans. Yeah. How can I do that? They reconnect. She moves to LA with Maddie, and Maddie is essentially her pimp.
Pretty much.
And they're making buco bucks. And then she gets a phone call from the Armenians, and they're like, hey, your husband owes us money, or did you forget? And she's like, yeah, no, why are you money? And they said, we're at your front door. We're in your house. If you don't give us the money, you were going to kill Nate. Nate is currently in a coffin in the desert. I feel like she almost raises the money. She does raise the money. She
tries to raise some of the money, yeah.
And they're like, we're going to kill him tomorrow. So Maddie goes to Alamo, who we'll come to later, who owns a strip club, and asks for the money. He doesn't lend them the money. He says he's lent her the money. When they get there, he shoots the Armenian guy. Yeah. They open the bag. The bag is filled with like cans or something. He was never going to give them the money. Anyway, they open the coffin, and Nate's dead. So all of that was for nothing. Maddie is now indebted to Alamo. Yeah. Nate is dead. Yeah. The craziest part about this storyline, they never tell anyone.
That is nuts. Because Lexi was like, oh, so what happened to Nate? He's disappeared. Aren't you worried? It's like, it is what it is. Huh?
You've not even been married a year and your husband has disappeared.
And also the family members, they looked for him one time. You tell me they did not come back and be like, we need to find out where Nate is.
Where's his body then?
Yeah.
Where is his body? What did they do?
Where is it back in underground?
Your husband who you love, apparently.
Yeah, I know. It's that part, I was like, this is kind of crazy.
A choice for sure. Yeah. And I'm curious as to what their plan would have been had they got another season, because they won't. This is the other spoiler. Season 3 is the last season of Euphoria. What were they going to do with that storyline? Have someone call them one day and be like, I know your husband's buried in the desert. Probably. Okay. Like, stop wasting my time. I also know he's buried in the desert. What now?
Yeah, and then they'll frame Cassie, and then she's going on trial. That's the story.
When they see the snake bite, they're going to say Cassie did it.
Yeah, she put the snake down there.
She put her husband in a coffin, she put him in the snake, even though they could do science to figure out exactly when he died, and then no, that's when Cassie had long since moved out of the house. That's why I don't understand why they wouldn't tell the authorities what happened.
Because it would implicate Alamo.
But he didn't. But Nate died of a snake bite.
But why was he underground?
We don't know. We were just as shocked as you.
No, same. I mean, we were all shocked.
We got all shocked.
I think it revealed the whole issue, the whole scamming.
I'm sure there was. Yeah, I'm sure there's
a
stupidly plot reason why they couldn't tell.
Oh, it's plot only. It's not supposed to be for.
Yeah, no, for sure. But for that to be that's that. Nate's family will never know what happened to Nate. I will never talk about what happened to Nate. We're just gonna live here together.
Yeah.
So then she continues doing OnlyFans, and Maddie remains indebted to Eleanor. And that's Cassie's storyline for this season.
Yeah, Cassie's storyline is Maddie. My thing about Cassie's storyline, Cassie did basically carry the show for the most part in terms of a consistent story, character development. And I also felt like they invested a lot in her character as well. Like the scene
I think she was the most available of the actors.
She probably was.
So they hinged the entire season around her.
It really was, yeah. Because there's that scene where she's like, you know, a 6 foot giant, not 6 foot, not 6 foot,
64 foot
giant in this like miniature Hollywood. And I didn't know there was like a after the.
Yeah, they do like a little.
Was it after every episode?
Yeah.
Oh crap! I only saw that one.
That's okay. I haven't seen all of them.
Well, I think I only saw it by chance because when I watched it on HBO Max would just fast forward to the next episode, so I didn't see the little snippet at the end. But the one I ended up seeing was, you know, them making that miniature Hollywood world and the amount of work that went into it, and Silly Sweeney going like, I was so excited to be doing this. It's the best thing I've done, you know, some of the best moments in my career of doing this. And yeah, I really felt like they invested a lot in that character. And she was a great glue I don't know, she did become a glue towards the end of like joining Maddie's story and Lexi, of course, being the sister, Nate, of course, Alamo. So there was some joinings that she was able to do. I mean, I don't know if for this season it was more than in previous seasons. Of course, you know, she was in high school, so it's different in season 1 and 2. But my God, was she sexualized the whole time? Like, if she didn't have her tits out, or like the emphasis of her tits out, then her ass was out. And of course, that makes sense. She was doing OnlyFans, but I felt at times it was so deliberate. Like her wedding dress was 2 cups too small. Like legit, it just felt like, are you just trying to use her for her body? But also she has agency to be like, I'm going to change this in my contract that you can't do every scene with my boobs out.
She has agency, but at this point it is now part of the character, you know? So it's like, it's crazy because there were definitely points where I'm like, this is Sydney Sweeney's real ass boobs. This is Sydney Sweeney's real ass body.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And like, sometimes you forget because it's so readily available in the show, you start to think, no, that's Cassie's boobs. It's like, no, these are your real ass. You have to go. You go home at the end of the day, and this is actually you still. Like, you are this person. And it did make me think, like, is it excessive? Yes, sometimes it does. Genuinely, I found that whole giantess sequence excessive. Like when she puts her breasts up to the window, then her breasts are like huge and it bursts through the window. It's like, I don't know who this scene was written for, but I'm sure as the actress it was probably fun to do.
Agree.
But like it just felt like he as a writer feels the most comfortable in writing those scenes.
Yeah, of course.
For those female characters. And that's something maybe you should consider. Like that's something we should keep an eye on for him, because think about the fact he also did The Idol.
And
that was also, oh, did you not watch it? No. That was also quite exploitative towards its female character.
Yeah.
So I think he constantly is drawn to women who are having to use their bodies or their talents or whatever it is they have to get out of a tricky situation. And that became a crux in this season.
Yeah.
And I also find it really funny because you juxtapose Rue. Someone mentioned that like Rue is him, right? Because he had a really bad drug addiction as well. And that's what drew him to the series in the first place. And Rue is basically a cipher for him.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's really interesting that Rue wears boys' clothes. That Rue we never see Rue engaging in anything sexually explicit. No. You know, I think it's also in Zendaya's contract to like not have her tits out, which is completely fair. Yeah. But every time Rue has had sex or there's anything sexually explicit, it's like behind something, or there's a scene in this season where she's apparently like blowing someone's back out in a car and you can't see any
I was even surprised when they switched that scene and then the car is shaking. I'm like, is Rue supposed to be in there? Like,
are we supposed to believe that Rue even has sex like that?
Yeah, that's
this like deeply anxious, deeply.
That's what I was surprised too.
Troubled person. Anyway, that's Cassie's storyline. Nate's storyline, as we've mentioned, is he owes some man some money.
Done.
He's avoiding the man for all season. He marries Cassie. Again, I wasn't sure based on that episode, and maybe I need to go back and watch it again, whether we were supposed to buy. I don't buy Cassie and Nate, right? It feels kind of like the Western Amanda thing of like, we have to stay together now because I lost a friend based on the fact that we started dating.
That's actually quite crazy. So that parallel is crazy.
But there is at least a performance of something between the two of them. And so they get married. This guy that he owes money to turns up to the house, chops his toe off. Time passes, Nate still hasn't paid him, so he chops his finger off. Time passes, Nate still hasn't paid him, so he's just beating him up.
Yeah, I mean, at one point I was like, Jacob Elordi's role was just to get beat up this whole season.
There was
like Cassie's for tits, he's for beats.
There was, like, you missed this because you weren't watching the episodes when they were coming out, but Twitter was so, like, chef's kiss during this period, because there was like a meme where someone was like, oh, this is what Nate's gonna look like at the end of the season. It's like someone with no arms and like no and no legs, and it's like, no, for real, he is going to be limbless at this point, because these people are not joking. Every time they see him, they say, we're cutting something off ASAP.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And then they put him, they bury him in a coffin under the ground, and they start pressuring Cassie. She brings the money, doesn't bring the money, doesn't matter anyway, because the snake has slithered its way into the box, and it kills Nate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the end of Nate.
That was the end of Nate. I mean, definitely heard the spoiler that he had passed away before the end of the season. So I was like, I'm not surprised, but also I was like, I'm not really sad either, because he was given nothing. And that also correlates with the fact that when he was getting pressured by the Armenians, he wasn't giving them nothing. He didn't bring anything. He wasn't trying to do anything to help generate the money that was needed. So Cassie had to do it.
Yeah, it's not like there was a version of that story where you could have presented a Nate that's just like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I've been fighting my whole life.
Yeah. But that didn't happen.
I can't do this. Someone help me.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my wife to help me. Someone's going to help me.
Yeah.
Something. But it just felt, and again, so there's been talk about scenes that have been cut, and I wonder if, again, for this Nate storyline, there was scenes cut that might have been a bit more helpful to like doing that. But I didn't have the death spoiled.
Oh, you probably. Oh, yeah. So you were shocked when
I wasn't shocked. I didn't care. I genuinely did not care.
I mean, you kind of.
I said, okay.
Yeah, but
at this point, I don't care about this character anymore.
No, but I think they didn't give enough for the character to care about, or for you to care for it. And so once we saw the snake slither in and went in, I was like, oh, that's not a good sign. And then because I already knew the spoiler, I was like, well, this is probably it.
To me, the most shocking thing was that they had done all this and he was dead.
Yeah.
Not that he was dead.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame. We could jump to Jules. Because...
one last thing before we finish. So when I was watching Jacob Elordi, and also the many ads for the perfume that he was advertising that was always seemed to be strategically locked in during the show, I do think Jacob Elordi is an example of a guy who is not attractive but just tall.
Damn. Finally, people are talking about it. I've been saying it.
Honestly, I don't see it. But if the girls out there can see it, let me know. I just didn't see it.
I said this. The unevolved version of me, 23-year-old version of me, Jacob Elordi,
down.
16-year-old version of me, his pictures would have been all over my homework diary. Jacob Elordi. I would have been obsessed with him. I've worked on myself enough now to know that man is just tall.
He is just tall. Literally just tall. And almost too tall.
He's just tall and he has dark hair.
Yeah.
Wuthering Heights did what Wuthering Heights could do, and it completely erased any love from this man. When I saw him with that cunty earring, I said, oh, I know who you are. I know who you are, and it's not gonna work on me.
Yeah,
Saltburn almost, because he's playing a uni student. I'm like, yes, me back then, this would have been in love of my life.
Jacob Elordi as the rom-com lead?
No. He has been a rom-com lead apparently as well. He was in the kissing booth or whatever.
Oh yes, he was. Yeah, that's how I first introduced him, and also didn't find him attractive at all.
I don't think he's charming.
No, but that's it.
It's the problem. I don't find him charming.
Because in the kissing booth, the other guy who wasn't Jacob Elordi, I found him more charming, and I actually wanted her to get with him, even though he was
the tallest guy.
Yeah. And they dated in real life, actually, the lead of Jacob Elordi. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's it. Why he just doesn't warm up the way that you expect in the rom-com. But
he doesn't what?
Warm up the screen. Like, he doesn't have that charisma.
Yeah, he's not very charming.
Yeah.
I think it's because he's Australian.
I didn't want to say that, but
no, I think I
didn't want to say
hate Australians.
No, I just
don't.
Hugh Jackman?
Nothing for me.
I mean, not talking about attractiveness.
Nothing. It does nothing for me.
Charming. I think he's got a bit of.
Name one charming Australian person. Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
He is the only one.
Yeah.
And honestly, maybe he's a Kiwi and he doesn't know. I'm just saying, look into it. I'm kidding.
He's like, no,
I'm fully Australian. I'm Australian.
Okay.
Jules has nothing to do this season, which is crazy work because Rue's going through it, and the person that Rue cares about most of the cast is Jules, and Jules has nothing to do or say. Jules is quite literally asking everything that she's in, what do you want from me? And they're like, we don't know, so we'll see you in the next step. You're a sugar baby now. And again, it goes back to this thing of all of the female characters are sex workers. Yeah. You're a sugar baby, you're a sex worker as well.
That's crazy, yeah.
You're a sex worker. So her whole thing is, her and Rue haven't seen each other for like 4 years.
Yeah.
They reconnect because she's a sugar baby. Rue comes to her flat sometimes. They fuck sometimes. But that's not clear.
No.
And then Rue dies, and then she paints a picture of her. The end.
Yeah.
It's literally not like, even with the sugar baby thing, they made it seem like, oh, maybe it's going to get dark.
Yeah, nothing. He just said, I don't want you to give me an STD to Rue.
He said, you can't be fucking other people and then fucking me. And she said, I'm not. Yeah. But she was. Well, she was like, I'm not fucking other people. It's Rue. She doesn't count. I don't fuck man. I fuck my one other friend, Rue. It's not weird. Then we get, I'm just going to move, because there's nothing else to say.
There's nothing, no. I mean, apart from the dress moment, I've said everything I want to say on Jules.
Yeah, there's like one random storyline where she's painting a picture for Lexi's job.
Oh, yeah, that was...
And she paints I actually like the picture, I'm not gonna lie.
The one with the dicks?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
It definitely would be.
It's interesting. So she paints this picture and it's a bunch of people with penises and they said you can't do that, and she says, oh.
And that's it.
And that's it.
And also
it has no repercussions in any way to any other storyline.
I think they try so hard to shoehorn a connection with Jules and Lexi and just like trying to get the world. And it was a really loose. Like, imagine if...
It didn't move the plot.
No, it didn't. Not at all. Like, imagine if Lexi needs to get a painting for her, a set with thing. Maybe she can call... Why would she call Jules? And also, like...
Bear in mind, we earlier in the seasons never see Jules do any art, but suddenly she's this budding artist that everybody knows about and would call her in a pinch if they needed art. Got it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it wasn't really doing much.
No, Lexi's storyline is she's got a job working on a soap.
Next.
That's it.
Yeah, because there really isn't nothing.
It doesn't move the plot forward either.
The only thing that is closed, where she is a middleman, is where she relays the information that Rue was speaking to DEA, that Rue was speaking to the DEA to Maddie, and then Maddie passed the information to Alamo.
Yeah.
That is her only link to progressing the story.
Plot, yeah. Oh, and the other thing is we get to learn, as we had learned already in the previous season when she writes the play, that she kind of hates her sister and is jealous of her and is really upset that Cassie now wants to muscle in on the whole TV thing when that's her thing, and like Cassie gets to be pretty.
But is that a season 3 plot line, or is that something that's happened in previous seasons?
It's a sort of further button on a plot that's been running through. Like, Lexi has not grown, basically, as a character. Her storyline has not grown. Then we've got Maddie. She has moved to LA. She's working as a agent's assistant. She meets someone who has an OnlyFans, starts to help them. They end up signing this like 6-figure deal, but Maddie's agent will not let her do that and also work at the agency. So she basically stops managing this person and loses out on like a cut of the 6 figures. She then decides to start working with Cassie, initially I think to fuck with her and Nate, and then abandons that because it turns out she's just like, I'm just my friend. And she is helping Cassie. Cassie is going from strength to strength on OnlyFans. She's using her connections as the agent's assistant to get Cassie where she needs to get to. Then obviously they have the business with the money that is owed for Nate. So Maddie, who has met Alamo because Rue is in trouble with Alamo, he comes to find her at a diner when she's having lunch with Maddie. Maddie meets Alamo. Alamo introduces her to a bunch of other girls. Maddie's like, oh, we can do business together, but I'll take some of your girls, set them up on OnlyFans. We can all make money. So she goes to Alamo in her time of need to borrow money. He says, what are you going to give me for it? And it becomes clear that he wants to fuck her for the help he's going to give her in this moment. And so then after they try and rescue Nate and don't, Maddie is stuck in this sexual relationship with Alamo, who she clearly doesn't like. At the end of the series, she happens to be at the strip club when Ali turns up to basically kill Alamo. Alamo tries to use her as a human shield because he's a piece of shit. And then his right-hand man, who I think his name is
Q or 3
I think it's Bishop. He renders Alamo powerless. He gets killed. And then it's like, is him and Maddie gonna get together?
So they kind of alluded to the fact that,
there's a little flirtation maybe in the car. And so you're like, oh, okay.
Maybe. I mean, it would be wild. Like, you kill your boss and this drug lord over a woman. But
no.
I mean, I know it's not, but it would have been wild. Think about it in that way.
Do you know what the twist actually is?
No.
So I think there was a scene, this is one of the scenes that got cut out. Bishop's brother was killed by drugs that Alamo had supplied. So he was in deep cover, basically, waiting for an opportunity to get Alamo. And that's why he tells Rue that story about the snake that wasn't eating anymore because it was planning to eat the woman that had been taking it home. He was basically describing himself, I'm here biding my time to find an opportunity to get Alamo, and then here comes Ali, perfect opportunity. I'm going to empty the gun of bullets and let nature take its course.
That makes so much
because you
sense.
deserve to die. But we obviously don't know any of this because we did not see the earlier scene where Bishop's brother is one of the people that died because of Alamo.
Oh, that makes so much sense now, because I just thought he
randomly decided to let him die. Yeah, I had the same feeling. I was like, this feels random.
Or like, maybe it's just like, in my head, maybe they've always had, Bishop has an internal resentment towards Alamo, and that's the reason why. But now that would make more sense from a brother standpoint. But
it's weird though. I think he's had plenty of opportunities to turn on him.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that he waits till Rue is dead.
Yeah.
When he could have turned on him at any point and saved both of them. But Rue had to go because then Di had to go. It is what it is.
And also he stops trusting Rue. So,
but why not?
Actually, yeah.
If she's trying to turn him into the DA, that would end our business, right? Yeah. This is what you want, is to get rid of Alamo. Why would you interfere with... Anyway, so that's Maddie's story. Rue now, I think Rue's the last person, right, to get
Rue's
to.
the last person.
Rue starts the series working as a drug mule for Laurie. Remember Laurie? She's the woman that she bought a suitcase full of drugs from and never gave her the money for. Yeah. Laurie has tracked her down. You need to pay me back $200K.
Yeah.
You're going to be a drug mule to make that money back. She then tells, I can't remember what her name is, Faye. Yeah, she tells Faye, and then Faye also becomes a drug mule.
Yeah. Those scenes where they talk about the impact of being a drug mule, I was like, this is scary. When they were swallowing these balloons,
it was disgusting. Yeah. They're going back and forth to Mexico, bringing back balloons of fentanyl, I think, or cocaine, who knows. During this, Rue meets Alamo.
Yeah.
Alamo does business with Laurie. I think he acquires drugs from Laurie, and he meets Rue and they connect, and Rue's basically like, let me come work for you instead. Like, buy me off Laurie.
Yeah.
So he does. Yeah. Rue comes to work with him. She really likes working with him because he's got a strip club. There's loads of hot girls in there. Rue's a lesbian. Don't know if you know this. She's a lesbian, and she quite likes working in the club. Yeah. Only she starts to see like, the club's kind of like bad. Like they killed one of the girls, dies of a drug overdose, and they just bury her. Yeah. We're not going to tell anyone, which is exactly what it's like in a place like that, I'm sure. Yeah. Her friend, the girl who dies' friend, starts going crazy because she's like, I want to know what happened to her. Where did she go? So they end up sending her to rehab, which it turns out is just like human trafficking. They've just moved her on somewhere else. Rue has also decided to connect with God in this season. Yeah. So she's looking for signs, and her plan is like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to pay off my debts, and then I'm going to go straight. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not using as much as I used to, although she still is. At the top of the series, he says, I've not been sober this whole time. Yeah. Anyway, she is trying to get right with God and try and get out of the business. And every so often in the episode, she'll see a sign. And one of the biggest signs is that she sees a burning tree.
Which is giving Moses and the burning tree.
Yeah, she's like, God is literally telling me now, like, you're on the right path. You need to do this. Yeah. But on the way back from the trafficking place, she gets pulled over by the DEA. Yeah. They search her. She's obviously got a bunch of drugs in her bags. They tell her, if you don't work with us, we're going to send you to jail. Or Rue's like, I don't want to go to jail, which is actually stupid because that would definitely free you from your debts. They can't get you if you're in prison. Yeah. She starts working with the DEA, trying to set Alamo and Laurie up. Yeah. So that they can sort of get a double whammy, catch them both. Alamo learns that Rue is trying to fuck him over. Yeah. Because Maddie accidentally says, oh yeah, Rue's talking about the DAA already, whatever, she lost a plot.
Which is crazy, honestly. But
it's mad. So Alamo manages to double cross the DEA. Laurie ends up, her whole system gets destroyed. She kills herself and she jumps off the roof and hangs herself. And then Alamo's team just get off scot-free because they had switched the van with the drugs. Alamo says to Rue, for all of your hard work, here is a bunch of cash, and because Rue had cut her hand, here is some Percocet for the cut on your hand. Rue goes to Ali's. She is genuinely wrestling with taking the Percocet because she knows that she has had an addiction to this drug in the past, but her hand really hurts. She takes one. Turns out the Percocet is laced with fentanyl. Rue dies of an overdose. Rue dies. Honestly, at the time I was like, damn. After the show, I have felt more sad about Rue's death because I think the whole series hinged on us rooting for her to get clean.
Yeah. I think that's always been the case. Like, that's the part and parcel of the whole season.
Yeah, we've been rooting for her to get clean, and it felt like she really maybe was generally on the path there. And like, apparently you take one drug once and that'll be it. And you never know. I guess the point that Sam Levers was trying to make is like, you do not know what you're taking when you start down this road. And she took some pills from a random dude and it ended up killing her. Ali is heartbroken, right? He says, I'm actually not going to bury another kid. I'm going to bury the guy who did this to her. So he goes to the strip club with a sawn-off shotgun and he kills Alamo.
Yeah.
And then
that part was wild.
He kills Alamo. He says, fuck that hoe. He's dying. Manages to walk out of there relatively scot-free.
Yeah.
Goes to this ranch, which we see right at the beginning of the series, that Rue stopped at one point when she was doing her drug trafficking. And that got me, actually, when Alamo gets there and he says, my daughter came here and she said it was like the most beautiful place in the world. And I don't know why him calling her his daughter made me emotional, but I really felt it.
Yeah.
I felt very much like that was his kid and what you did was so dirty. That was my child.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he says grace at the table and then we get a shot of the ghost of Rue saying amen and you're like and it would have got me. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't emotional, but I think it's Coleman Domingo.
No, his
performance in that final episode.
He was, yeah.
If the show gets nominated for an Emmy, it will be for that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I remember when I watched that part of the show, and I think when Rue passed, in my head I was like, okay, it's making a lot more sense in terms of what this story was supposed to be and who were the real villains. Of course, the drug is the villain, Alamo is the villain. But I thought what was also quite interesting is how much Coleman Domingo's character cared, not just about Rue, but also his other patients. And I love that there was some backstory moments. Alamo being a really interesting backstory, as well as Coleman Domingo's Ali's character, where you start to understand, okay, from Ali's perspective, he fights for getting drugs off the streets. He fights for people being clean, to the point where he's fought so long in terms of his like social work that he's seen so many casualties and so many deaths as a result. And for him going back to that homestead in Texas was like him like saying, I've completely given up on being that advocate, being that sponsor for those addicts. Of course, I think I was reading online that, there was some backlash because of how the series portrayed the drug use. But I think it was really telling and also realistic to see, like, look, the therapist that's supposed to help with addiction, he can't do that anymore because it's affecting him so much.
He's not a therapist.
Not a therapist, but like the way he supported.
Yeah, which is why I think it is.
Like it has such a toll on him, right? He's like, I can't do this anymore.
It can't be healthy for recovering addicts to be your current addict's only soundboard.
Yeah.
That can't be helpful. And as we're talking about it, actually, Euphoria has cast a lot of addicts, and a lot of those addicts have gone on to relapse after working on the show.
That's crazy.
So I think that's really interesting. And I'm not an addict, so I don't know whether working on a show like this or the way that it presents drug use, or actually the fact that because it's written by someone who's been there, maybe it's so true to life for those people that it does make them relapse. But the guy who was on the previous season, his name's gone out of my head, it's gonna annoy me, but he was the guy who Jules ended up hooking up with, who was Rue's friend first, and Rue was doing drugs with him, and Jules was sleeping with him, and she didn't know, and then they ended up outing Austin. I think his name's Austin something. Anyway, they ended up outing Rue to her mum, and that's how the drugs in the suitcase got flushed in the first place.
Okay.
He relapsed after being on the show. Obviously, Angus Cloud died of an overdose, and Natasha Lyonne has relapsed, and she was a guest star on this season.
I saw her. I was like, oh, I don't look like Natasha. I didn't know she relapsed. Crap.
So I'm sure Euphoria will have to answer for whatever that's
going on
is in
Did
its
she go
own
to
time.
rehab?
I don't know. I think it was hard in a season that was so heightened and all over the place for it to end in but remember, guys, drugs is bad.
Yeah, that
felt
part.
very like. But we spent 6 episodes talking about OnlyFans. Why is drugs the thing that we need to be worried about? You don't think this is a worry?
No, it felt very disconnected. And as I was, after I finished the show, I kept on thinking, what show has done it right in terms of learning that message of drugs is bad? And I think of not lovesick, drugsick, or dope sick, excuse me, and how that was presented. That was the Netflix one, wasn't it?
Dope sick was the
Disney Plus one.
Disney Plus one, I think.
And then the equivalent of
I liked the Disney Plus one. I never watched the Netflix one.
I watched the Netflix one. I didn't watch the Disney Plus. The Netflix one made me emotional. I cried when I saw that, because they had also used a lot of real people, like survivors from addicts, or also people who had not survived, and their families' story and impact. But yeah, I think the drug element kind of got lost. I think you got some of the drug when you brought in Alamo's character and Laurie's character, but it felt so distant. And even when, sadly, when Rue's character passed, I remember feeling like this is so anticlimactic. And maybe that's supposed to represent what that looks like when...
I think Sam Levinson said, like, kind of, rolling his eyes, like, what did you guys think was going to happen? And she was always going to die.
Well, actually, we didn't think that. And actually, for the most part, they talked about the series so much of it coming back. But I do realise maybe they couldn't say, season 3 is the final one, because we would have assumed, well, the ending is really around Rue. I have no idea how you'd be able to write a show around Angus Cloud's, is it Angus Cloud or Angus? Yeah, his character. It didn't make sense. Fez. This didn't make any sense. So,
given like he's supposed to be in prison as well.
Yeah. And also there were so many other deaths on the show, like Eric Dane, the father.
Yeah.
Angus. So, I mean, there's a lot that's happened in the last 4 years.
Yeah. I would say Euphoria will go down. Like, now I think we're at the stage of just like talking about what the legacy of the show will be. And I think for what it is in terms of what it did for its main cast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like catapulted those people into stardom. Like Jacob Elordi, Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney. Oh, I can't remember her name now. It's so bad. Maddie's but the actress's name. It'll come to me. Their careers, well, actually specifically Sydney Sweeney, Zendaya, and Jacob Elordi's character, her careers have like blown as a result of being on this show. And I think that first season of the show is nigh on a perfect season of television in taking what TV can be and what stories can be and just dialing it up so many notches. Like, it's a YA show that doesn't feel like a YA show at all. It feels incredibly grown up, incredibly sophisticated, incredibly creative and unique. And I think that's why adults and young people alike flock to the series. Like, I know people who are older than me that were like, have you watched Euphoria? Like, it's kind of brilliant. I remember watching it the first time around and being like, this is insane. Yeah. Like, this makes me feel like I don't need to make TV actually, because this is kind of it. Like, he's kind of done it. And then as time has gone on, I feel like he's been chasing the high of that first season, but also not wanting to be stymied by what the show is. I think Sam Levinson never set out to write a YA show. No. I think he set out to write a show about a young person who happens to have a drug addiction and what their world looks like as a result. And perhaps that is why the show kind of had to ended up rattling to its end, because it's conflicting what its intentions are now. That's like, I didn't hate the second season. People gave the second season a really hard time. I loved the play, actually. I think the play is a great...
Oh God, yes, I forgot about the play.
Game as well, with like the way that the first season has those moments where Rue's narration literally changes the style of the show.
And in season 3, Rue's narration was desperately neat. Like, we needed it. It was the hook at times to keep the story going for each of those areas. But yeah, series 2, I just remember that, the play wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it was there.
Okay.
No, but I think I said it was like, I have loved the previous seasons. I think I love series 1 more because it felt the most memorable. But again, it was brand new. Like, we all remember where we were when we started watching it. Series 2 was less memorable, but still good.
Yeah. And I think that this season took a massive swing, attempted to do something that felt very not like the show anymore. And I think that's why people were like, what is this? People still tuned in to watch it because of course they would, because I think you like now have a fan base that is just desperate to know how this story is going to end. And I was desperate to know how the story was going to end, even though every week I was like, I have no clue what the hell this has to do with anything. One of the things I think the show would be remembered for is, unlike every other YA show, and I haven't obviously seen every single one, but of the ones I've seen, they end in a very hopeful way.
Yeah.
This show took kids who were suffering, continued to make them suffer, and then end with them suffering. It's the bleakest YA show, and I think it will be memorable for that because you don't take that genre, which is about young people, and say there's nothing to look forward to, kids.
It's adultified teen drama.
Yes, but I also think his view of the world is you have nothing to look forward to, and I don't think that's wrong. I think we are living in a very different time where I do think young people, there is a bleakness about what do they have to look forward to. Global warming is destroying the planet. The rise of the far right means we're going to be living in a fascist state tomorrow. There's no jobs, and you're going to live with your parents until you die. Why wouldn't you go out and use drugs and die of an overdose at 22? Why not? And I think that's so interesting because when I think about Gossip Girl, for example, the end of the series, everybody gets what they want. That is the thing. It's like Gossip Girl it's incredibly optimistic about what you can achieve, even though obviously they're all rich people anyway. But the point is, everybody will get what they want. Yes, okay, you might have some hardships along the way, but ultimately you are going to end up exactly where you want to be. And Euphoria says,
no, baby,
not at all.
But I think that's you're right. That's probably what put Euphoria on the map because it felt real and also honest in what it's trying to say. Season 3, I remember getting to like maybe episode 7 and thinking, what am I getting out of this series? What is the point of this versus, the rest of what we've seen in TV today? Like, what is this show trying to tell me that I wouldn't have got from season 1 or season 2? Or did we just desperately want to do 3 because, of course, it's a money play? 2, you finish, you conclude this with the trilogy?
Almost.
With a trilogy. But I think that's what sometimes made the series feel a bit vacuous because it just didn't have the tangible oomph that we expect from the world of Euphoria.
Yeah, it feels, like a series that was written in haste.
Yeah, and it probably
sounds like it was.
Yeah. Ratings. What would you rate it?
Am I rating the entire show or just season 3?
Just season 3.
I'm going to say 3 out of 5. There were moments, like I said, I watched every single episode. I really did look forward to Euphoria Monday. And I'm sad that I don't have a Monday show anymore, but does that mean I wanted another season of Euphoria? Not necessarily.
No.
Again, I think Coleman Domingo's performance is incredible, and for bringing us more Coleman Domingo, I'll always be thankful for the show. But I do think it was crazy to wrap up a show that was about Rue and not even show us her funeral. Crazy work.
That is nuts.
Crazy work.
Like, some of it felt so missing. Like, even when she passed, like, we barely saw her face. Yeah, we didn't see the funeral. That part even started to confuse me as well because once she had passed, I kept on thinking, nah, Ali, why don't you phone the police? Because it almost like jumps a couple of scenes where we're supposed to have this like moment where the body's taken away and, the coffin is there and, the rest of the cast come and visit her. And again, that's the second moment where you can have that joinage of all the cast members.
Well, not Nate, because he's already dead.
Yeah, I mean, Barney. But like...
And he would have come as well, best friend. I was like, why is she at Nate's wedding? He would never invite her. They're not mates.
I know, but they need something to connect the dots. But that could have been the second opportunity, but it just didn't happen. But yeah, I think for me personally, I'll give it a 3 as well. It's not like a bad series. I actually enjoyed being in the world for some of the earlier episodes. But ultimately, there wasn't much going on. And part of me was thinking as I was watching it, like maybe Euphoria should have been a film. Like you finish with series 1, series 2 and end with a film, but we'll never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we going to watch next week? I think we should watch Alice and Steve.
Oh, so that one, that BBC drama about the woman's daughter that sleeps with her friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not a BBC drama, it's Disney.
Sorry. Yeah, I would like to watch that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say half an hour, but Alice and Steve, I think, has just come out. I'm really excited to watch it. I think it's going to be funny.
Yeah, I have
something a bit of a palate cleanser.
That would be good. Yeah, I have seen some ads for it, and I remember when I saw it, I was like, this is disgusting, but bring it on.
I had planned to play you the trailer in one of our previous episodes, because I didn't know if you'd seen it yet, because I just wanted to get your like raw response on the pod, but cannot wait to see how that turns out. And also, Rivals is back, and we haven't.
I know, Rivals.
I haven't even checked it out.
Yeah.
There's so much TV out at the moment that I'm like, oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. Maybe we'll do it in the next episode, but IndieWire has released like the top like 20 shows of the year.
Okay.
And of those, I think we've watched like 2 for the podcast.
Okay, so we need to bring it up.
Yeah, we need to watch more TV.
Yeah. Cool.
This has been Scripts and Giggles.
Hello. We're Shoshanna
and Marnie.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.